In this video, I'm going to be giving you my top 5 overall prize picks for these NBA playoffs. And let me tell you, there are a couple teams that we're going to target. Their fantasy points are just way too soft. But before we get into my top 5, I do want to give a quick shout out to Prizepicks. If you guys have not signed up for Prizepicks, go ahead and sign up using code DGF for a 100% match up to $100. Prizepicks is a fantasy app where you simply hit the over or under of any certain fantasy projection or player prop. It really is that easy. Again, that is code DGF. You get a 100% match up to $100. Now, we do know that these videos that I post throughout the day can become stale, especially if the projections do change throughout the day. We also know that Prizepicks loads up new projections. So if you guys are interested in finding out my 5 flex Prizepicks card, I want to make sure that you guys are on top of my overall favorite plays. I want to try to get this video to 150 likes. If we get this video to 150 likes, I will post my 5 flex Prizepicks card in the YouTube comment section. And also, for every additional 50 comments that we get on this video, I will post an additional play on top of my 5 flex Prizepicks card and also my 5 free picks in this video. I also do want to mention before we kick off my top 5 plays that I post all my premium picks to dgfantasy.com for only $5 a week or $10 a month. You guys get access to all of my favorite plays leading up through lock. Coming in as my honorable mention for this NBA Prizepicks board is going to be VanVleet over 39 fantasy score. This gets a confidence rating of a 6.5 out of 10. He has hit the over on this projection the past 3 of the 5 games. VanVleet also averages 0.03 more fantasy points per minute with Barnes, Trent, and Thad Young off the court. They are all doubtful for this contest tonight. He also receives a 1.2% usage rate bump. Overall, this fantasy score projection is just way too soft. I have him projected for 44.7 fantasy points tonight. Coming in at number 5 is going to be Siakam over 6 assists. This gets a confidence rating of a 7 out of 10. He has hit the over or push on this projection the past 4 out of the 5 games. He also averages 0.05 more fantasy points per minute with all the current injuries off the court for the Raptors. He also has averaged 8 assists per game versus 76ers this season. He also has a 100% hit rate on this projection whenever Scottie Barnes doesn't play. I have Siakam projected for just under 8 assists tonight. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Jalen Brunson over 36 fantasy score. This gets a confidence rating of a 7 out of 10. Brunson averages 0.13 more fantasy points per minute with both Doncic and Hardaway off the floor. He also receives a crazy 8.7% usage rate bump. Brunson also shot the ball 24 times last contest with Doncic off the floor. I expect this trend to continue yet again tonight, which gives him a very safe floor. And despite the Mavs only scoring 93 points last contest, Brunson was still easily able to hit this fantasy score. Brunson's points, rebounds, and assists are also currently set to 32.5, so if you do the math, his fantasy score projection of 36 is very soft. I have Brunson projected for 40 fantasy points tonight. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Jokic over 59 fantasy score. This also gets a confidence rating of a 7 out of 10. Jokic has averaged 1.77 fantasy points per minute with both Murray and Porter off the court this season. Jokic is also expected to play more minutes here in the playoffs than what we're used to seeing from him in the regular season. Tonight, I have him projected for 37 minutes, assuming that this game stays close and competitive. And if you do the math, he easily covers this projection in 37 minutes. I have him projected for 64 fantasy points tonight. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Siakam over 47 fantasy score. This again gets a confidence rating of a 7 out of 10. He has hit the over on this projection the past 5 out of 5 games. Siakam also averages 0.13 more fantasy points per minute with Barnes, Trent, and Thad Young off the court. He also receives a 2.3% usage rate bump, and Siakam should also play a minimum of 40 minutes in tonight's contest. He played 40 minutes last game despite the 20-point blowout. I have Siakam projected for 53.3 fantasy points tonight. Coming in as the best overall prize pick entry for this board is going to be Anunoby over 30 fantasy score. This gets a confidence rating of a 7.5 out of 10. He has hit the over on this projection the past 3 of the 5 games. And he hit the over on this projection last game even despite him only playing 32 minutes. He is projected for 37 minutes in tonight's contest. Anunoby also averages 0.15 more fantasy points per minute with Barnes, Trent, and Thad Young off the court. He also receives a 3.3% usage rate bump. This is one of the most mispriced fantasy score projections on the board. Right now I have Anunoby projected for 38.9 fantasy points tonight.